So, what we have been doing and understanding the entire journey of the self discovery, our goal is still the same. We have to live into that real self, which is of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. And I told you, when it is a journey, then it has to continue. So, the last session, we understood a couple of sessions, we have understood that unless the purity of the mind takes place, we cannot find the real self.
Sure.
Uh, does the impurity of the mind also causes the impurity to the real self? The answer is no. It is like the mirror, which is never becomes impure, even you have a lot of dust and which is sticky. You have to remove that dust, and the mirror is the same, remains the same. That is the nature of impurity. So, that nature of the impurity we have understood. The past impressions, they popped up, and when they pop up, because the outer situation triggers, outer situation, when I look at the thing perception, when we live in a particular situation, that past impression triggers and takes the form of a thought. Oh, look at this guy, he he insulted me when 10 years ago. I still remember. What a great guy we are. So that needs to be contemplated. Or even honey, okay, honey, can you go to the airport to pick up my my father? No, you did not pick up my father the last time, so I will not do it. You see, so it is causing the limitedness in me, selfishness in me. And that causes the desire. Then we have six enemies. And after the six enemies take hold of the mind, we have the impure states of the mind. And I have already discussed in detail that what are these impure states of the mind, anxiety mind, stressed mind. Now you have to see that how many impure states of the mind we live every day. And that will tell you that how much my mind is impure. So we have six conventional methods to purify the mind. And first of them is known as the yajna. We have to understand. So I'm defining the first, I'm giving the first definition of yajna. First definition of yajna is that I have to get rid of the selfishness. Because of that selfishness, hesitation, reaction, ego, obsession, as Charlie was talking, monkey minds, sheep mind, they enter into our life. And the biggest issue is that one part of the mind is aware that I'm being egoistic, I'm hesitated, and still I don't stop that hesitation. And that hesitation continues. That disturbs my sleep. The next day, I continue with the same state of the mind. And that is the cause of our suffering. So, the yajna, the first definition of yajna, is that let me sacrifice the very selfishness. How simple it is. First, I recognize what I recognize, I'm hesitated. Let me sacrifice this hesitation. Because if I don't sacrifice that hesitation, mind will constantly, the ego will constantly try to prove that you made me hesitate. Do you see that? You are responsible for my hesitation, my stress, my anxiety, my fear, my problems. But fact is that no one is responsible for our suffering. No one is responsible for our uh, happiness also. So we should understand that with the help of a metaphor. It is a very deeper aspect, and our masters have spent thousands of pages in different texts on that. So, first I said, yeah, the first definition of yajna is sacrificing selfishness. Selfishness causes the hesitation, ego, anxiety, stress, duality, conflict, blame, complaint, game, biased mind, etc., etc. So it is important to understand that why we are purifying the mind through the yajna. So we want to make our mind free from the cycle of constant repetition and manifestation of this selfishness, which can occur at any time inside my head. You know, you are sitting in front of the dearest friend, and he or she says something, and suddenly that selfishness pops up in the mind. Ah, what she thinks of herself. Huh? She's, she's bragging too much. And I also have the same. It is happening inside my mind. I started thinking. And then it takes the form of a reaction, and the best friend becomes our worst friend. So break free from the cycle of that selfishness which is caused by the desire. And that is the one thing. Second is that to minimize the occurrence of these six enemies of the mind, which I told, the binding desire, hesitation, the greed or the obsession, the delusion, the pride, and the jealousy. Another is that we recognize there is a false sense of the self I'm living with. So you start dropping and dissolving that very false sense of the self. And the moment I tell you, the moment you drop it, you experience the sense of the freedom as if you are flying, like the birds with the two wings. Purity of the mind has two wings. One is the discernment, means I contemplate and reflect. I find the cause and effect. And the second wing is the joy. Purity of the mind has this. So now let us understand this through a metaphor. So you see the metaphor of a seed. The seed first must be planted into the earth. It should be fertilized, nourished by the water. You plow the soil, and the seed is sown and watered. Constantly, you have to do until your intellect hits back to you that you are responsible. Impurity, suffering, you are responsible. So now why I gave the metaphor of a seed, the seed becomes the tree, unlimited. The tree means that I'm enjoying the freedom. Seed means that I am limited in myself. And that is what the selfishness is. So we have to undergo the same process as the seed undergoes, going into the soil. Soil of what? Soil of these principles of listening and learning, nourished by the water. Water means that you are contemplating and reflecting. And I can tell you that even people listen for 10 years and still they keep their limitedness. Limitedness is the selfishness. Selfishness is the ego. Oh, everything is okay. What you are saying, you are right. But the moment the session is over, the ego takes over their head. The selfishness takes over their head. So that is why every teacher wants to help you. So once you put that, continue the example of this metaphor. Planting the seed, it means that I recognize my limited identity. Every time I think, speak, and act in the world outside with my relations, with my friends, in a situation, I find there is a sense of limitation, limited identity. I have to recognize this, which is bound by the ego and the selfishness or attachment or ignorance. So first step is the recognition. But if I don't recognize that sense of limitation, selfishness in me, nothing is going to happen. The second stage is that I have to surrender to the earth. Here, in case of a seed. So here, in our case, it means that I offer the limited identity. That is the meaning of this definition. When I say I have to sacrifice the selfishness mentally, intellectually, by thinking, oh, hesitation, let me sacrifice this hesitation and look at the situation again. Let me assess. It is happening, everything is happening inside your head. That is why you are learning these principles. So it is not metaphor are more or less liking. They are like the same principle, but they are not equal to the same principle. So don't think, the seed grows and it takes years to gather. No, it can happen here and now. So second step is I offer myself. That is the second step I have been talking about. Now the third step, what happens? I So the moment you sacrifice your selfishness in a particular situation by thought, by feeling, by emotion, so what happens? There is a sense of detachment from the ego. You calm down. You calm down. So in case of a seed, the outer shell is now removed and now it is ready to sprout. See, ready to sprout. Oh, you're surprised that just by dropping and sacrificing that selfishness, I instantly feel the sense of calmness. And if you feel that sense of the calmness, then what happens? That is what the sapling is. You are sprouting, in a different direction now. It is possible. That is why every master says we should have empathy and compassion and kindness to the people, not because we are kind to the others, because I have changed my mind. I am purifying my mind. Being kind to others is a purification process. Being harsh to the others is again the same selfishness. Why I'm harsh to others? Because I have some self-interest, including your honey, your partner, your friends, etc. So growing now what happens? Once you break that shell and you repeat it, now is the time that you grow into a majestic tree. Oh, that tree, unlimitedness. So we experience the unlimitedness in the state of kindness, in the state of compassion, in the state of let me help. What makes me continue to talk to people? My master my master taught us the principle. Should I think that I am greater than you because I am a teacher? No. Do I have a intention that I'm serving you? No. I'm serving my master who appears in the of name in the form of John, name in the form of a child. So what happened? I have removed the limitedness. I don't have any preferences, likes or dislikes against any person. Why? Because that very thought process, I'm serving my master who passed on this knowledge in the form of a John in the child. Now see that thought. So that thought changes completely your emotions and the feeling. We all teachers, especially who are traditionally, mentored by their traditional masters, they have to teach. Outside, you are teaching the same way, but internally, your entire perception is different of teaching. And now, what happens? You become a majestic tree. Out of the seed, you have dropped your selfishness. So, what the tree does, the tree provides the shade and the oxygen and the nourishment and the flower and the fruits. That is the journey of purity of the mind. That is why Master says in Yajna, we should sacrifice our selfishness. There is another way I will talk about it, that I should understand, am I a consumer of the world or am I a contributor to the world at every moment? If you are a contributor, your selfishness goes away. If you are a consumer to the world, selfishness will remain present. We have to contemplate and reflect. These are the subtler principles. Without contemplation, that yajna cannot be practiced in our life. So look at the metaphor. Purifying the mind is like a seed dropping the shell, its shell of ego and the limitations to grow into a tree full of fruits. That is the metaphor. Why I normally give the metaphor so that you remember. Your mind can contemplate and think of it. Just as the seed claims to be the self-made, but is composed of small particles and shaped by other materials. They are not self-made. The seed cannot become the tree without the help of the resources. And those resources are provided by our Eastern wisdom. So understand it clearly. It's a very practical and pragmatic approach. The moment whenever I have a sense of hesitation, mood swing, or any impure states of the mind, I mentally think that I'm sacrificing this. As if you are separate, you have left it, you have thrown it into the garbage intellectually. Anxiety is also a thought of anxiety, stress is also a thought of the stress, selfishness is also a thought of the selfishness. And by the other thought, you can replace it, you can drop it. That is why it is taking a lot of time to understand it. So once you contemplate and reflect, you will see that it is extremely helpful with a partner. The partner is angry and upset. So you sacrifice your reaction. So you are listening in silence. So don't start thinking it's a man's liberation or women's liberation. You have to change yourself. Huh? You have to change your. So internally, when you are a seeker in the journey of the Eastern wisdom, you realize, oh, it's better to, oh, let me sacrifice all my reaction. So what happens? There will be a moment of surprise on your partner's face. He or she has reacted every time, but now he or she is not reacting. What a great relief. First time, second time, third time. And I can tell you, your partner will stop reacting to you because now you don't show any reaction. It is 100% possible. Practically, it's a pragmatic approach. And if you say it's a matter of my pride and my respect, so that is what I'm saying. You have to sacrifice your selfishness. So you did not sacrifice it. So I sacrifice the ego. Every master says, when I sacrifice my ego, again, by the thought process, it helps into your spiritual growth. We realize we are not self made. and you will find a tremendous result there and then. And not only that, we are able to, we immediately recognize it is the stressed mind, it is the angry mind, it is the reactive mind, it is the habitual mind. Oh, I reacted for the first time, and now the same reaction is multiplying every time. What is the use of multiplying this same attitude? Can I not change the attitude? Yes, I have an intellect. I can think of it. I can recognize it. I can change that attitude. Then we are really a human being, and then we are a seeker. And it can be done. It can be done. We are not talking of anger management. We are not talking of stress management. We are going to the root of the problem. You drop the selfishness, you sacrifice your selfishness in one situation, you find relief in 1 million situations because that is the root problem. So you have to manage your anger, you have to manage your sleep, you have to manage your stress, you have to manage a relationship with one person and the second person. Ah, modern approach is going haywire. You have only one aspect. You sacrifice that and you find relief in millions of situations. You will recognize it. You know that your intellect will awaken to it. Oh, it is because of this I was doing this. Very smaller details your mind will reflect, and you will see, oh, I, I have a right to be in peace. I don't have a right to be reserve my selfishness in order to create the patterns of reaction, anger, stress, and obsession. That is the importance of yajna. The first definition I covered. I will cover the second definition in the following sessions. Close your eyes. Let us start our journey. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Find out the right place, the right position of the body, and the right posture. Okay, and then we move to being comfortable. Don't take being comfortable and being carefree as easily. It has very deeper dimension as I'm going to explain. So when I say being comfortable, means you are always comfortable. So it is a discovery of the comfort in you. It is not creating the comfort and planting on your body and the mind. So how we do it? We ask the mind to let us go for a walk. Walk on the body. Look at the neck joint mentally, moving inside the root of the joint, feeling the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. My friends, you should be very clear in your head that we are using the body parts or body joints to move the mind within. That is our goal. You drive the car to reach to a destination, and then you drop the car outside and you enter into this. That is the process of being comfortable. So, what we are doing by looking at the joint, looking inside, we are changing the direction of the mind from outside, where it is scattered in millions of directions, awaiting selfishness. There you are moving the mind inside, changing the direction, changes the state of the mind. Means what? You discover that comfort which is already there. In selfishness, we cannot find it. So, looking at the shoulder joints outside, then looking at the root of the joint, and And you're pushing the mind gently. Okay, let me look at where the root begins. The very process moves, changes the direction of the mind. That is what we want. Whether we are able to see the joint or not, that's not a criteria here. And you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So even during the day, only single step of the practice will help you understand what exactly it means by moving the mind within. So looking at all the joints of the body, from the shoulder joints to the elbows, simply you're looking elbow joints and looking inside. You experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Knee joints inside, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Ankle joints, and the whole body. You will definitely experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Was it not there a few minutes before? It was there. No, but I didn't experience it because your mind was habitually engaged subconsciously in selfishness outside. Now you can understand the importance of being comfortable, being carefree. Being carefree is at the next level. Thoughts are coming. Oh, thoughts are coming. Yes, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. I'm doing meditation. Mind, why you are inviting these thoughts? They will continue to come until the purity of the mind takes place. Oh, so they represent the impurity of the mind. The answer is yes. So what should I do? I should not entertain them. No, but they are always coming. So let them come and go. Don't you hear the noise coming from outside? Don't you feel the air on the skin? Don't you feel the temperature on the skin? Don't you hear the noise, mind noise coming in the form of instruction? You take it objectively. Okay? Oh, so the same way. Oh, I recognize that unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are coming from that storehouse of the impurity of the mind. So let me watch, observe, let them come, let them go. What it means, observer and observed are always separate, they do not mix up. What is observed? Thought. Who is an observer? Separate, your awareness. They never mix up. So what happens then? I mix them up because of my ego, selfishness. Oh, it's so simple. Yes, it is very simple. We have to continue continuously doing the practice. So being carefree. Now, in that state of being comfortable and being carefree, we will apply another step, looking inside the forehead in the space, and starts dropping gently Shantoham mentally. So you're looking into the space and mentally saying Shantoham, Shanto. So every time Shantoham, you feel comfortable and carefree. So you add one more thing. You start breathing quick and fast, breathing into the chest. Just continue breathing. We want to check the level of the mind. What is the level of the mind? We want to check the patience. We want to check the whether it can endure. What is that endurance? Sometimes we have that situation and we flare up and then we make others responsible. So here by the breathing, we are helping The moment the mind resists breathing, keep on breathing and tell the mind, no, you need to develop an endurance. Om Shanti continues, you are dropping Om Shanti, you maintain the comfort and steadiness in the body, and you continue breathing. Just continue breathing quick and short breath and continue Shantoham, continue the steadiness in the body. So all these aspects helps you to bring the level of endurance and we need to follow it. Continue and stop this. Do nothing. Experience the changes in sensation. Just be with it. Now we are applying every principle that we discuss. So now we will contemplate and reflect on the main goal. Asatuma satgamaya. Asatuma satgamaya. Asatoma satgamaya. Meaning, let me move from the false to the real. The friend of the impurity of the mind is the false. Selfishness, false. Anger, hesitation, false. You cannot give any benefit of it. So now you have to contemplate in your own way. So we invoke the principle of being something is false. False is constantly changing. It does not stay in time and place and the form. It changes its form. Anything that is changing is false. With that reference, you examine your mind and you will say, no, I used to love my honey, but now I hate. So, oh, that there is a change. And that change is a false. So I have to examine why it happened to me in one situation and second situation with the same person. And my mind goes deeper inside and I recognize the false. False is caused by the selfishness. I sacrifice the selfishness and I'm gone. I'm done. So this movement of the false to the real has to be done continuously, consciously throughout the day, weeks and months to purify the mind. Second line of this mantra is what we are doing. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. It is better. You can sing in your mind if you're shy about singing outside. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Meaning is simple. Movement from the ignorance, the false notion. That is also the sacrifice. I gave second definition of the yajna that I should drop but without noticing and recognizing what is the false notion, I cannot drop it. I feel it real. I feel my prestige is real. I feel I will not die. I feel I'm the most beautiful. So beauty is with reference to the body, not with reference to the you. Body is your instrument, mind is your instrument. See that? So, like this, we have hundreds of false notions. So, false notion goes in and they clearly deposit on the transparent mirror of the real self, and that is where the impurity comes. So now, in that state, look at the head and the neck. You see that you are listening to me, you are understanding, and you are changing. That change should be permanent. That is why we have to continue the journey. So, looking at the head and the neck all around and experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Moving the mind on the right arm, it means you look at the right arm on the skin and then you look inside, you experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now you see, just by withdrawing the mind from outside to inside, we have a state of the calmness and relaxation. It is because that real self is passing to the mind that calmness. Moving the mind on the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the middle portion of the body, from the shoulder down to the rib cage and the belly, in the front, and the spine and the shoulder blades at the back, the entire middle portion of the body, we experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And right leg, from the right side of the waist to the thigh, knee, calf, ankle, heel, toes. The entire right leg. You're aware of it. You feel it. I can say in other words. Or I can say move the mind on the right leg. It is all the same. And experience the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So you see that in all those steps, you are changing the direction of the mind from outside to inside in varieties of ways. In some of these steps, the mind starts settling inside. That is why we have different steps. I'm giving you everything black and white. Nothing has to do with the cult, dogma, religion, etc. And now looking at the left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Objectively. This is, you see that you see the body objectively. Simple explanation. Deeper explanation will follow in future sessions. So, objectively, when you are aware, you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. You are not doing anything. In that state, you are looking at the breath. So, maintain the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And then you examine and explore what the breath is doing. Oh, the breath is going in and out of the body. Very good. Let it go. So we engage the mind on the breath which is going in and dropping Shanto Ham. on the track of the inhalation. And every time the breath comes out on the track of the exhalation, you are dropping Shantoham mentally. Breath going in Shantoham mentally, non verbally, without moving the lips and the tongue. Shantoham. And when you are dropping Shantoham, Shanti means peace, Aham means I am the peace. How come you are the peace? Be the Shanti or the peace, the shape of the peace is like a good space. So every time you're dropping Shantoham in and out of the breath, you become perceive the space inside and outside. Means the mantra goes with image of the space. Why? We will understand. I'm with you. Continue. The last step should be continued by you every day for a longer period. This is the last step where you're dropping Shantoham with the maze of the space. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Charlie?
Oh, good. Very peaceful.
Very peaceful. Very good. Yeah, so you see that every time mind bypassed that impurity, and I told you, mirror is always, nothing happens because of dusting on the mirror.
Mm.
I have to remove the dust. I have not to fight with the mirror. How are you, John, sir?
Hey, Girish, sir. I'm fine. It was pretty peaceful. Thank you.
Oh, very useful. So, okay, so get ready to teach the next lesson.
I don't think so.
Yes, we will meet again in the next week at the same time. Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.